Hello and welcome, each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, coach therapist from DCTcentre, and joining me today is Jayn Lee Miller, Angelic Consultant of the Year 2020, Master Energy Color Healer, and Angelic Reiki Master. Hello, Jayn Lee.
Hello there, Daiga. Thank you for inviting me on your show.
Thank you very much for agreeing to come to my show. And before we start, I just want to remind everybody that we both taking in private clients. Jayn Lee will tell everything about her work and how she started and all rest of it, and how she works with clients herself. And her contact details will be below video. And I'm taking in private clients for coaching therapy. So we both ready for taking in clients as well. Okay, Jayn, floor is all yours. Please
Okay.
maybe start from telling how you get where you get. So that would be interesting.
Okay, where do I start? Um, I think I was born with a connection with the divine uh, energy. I think I always had a feeling that I came from somewhere other than this planet. Um, but I consciously was on a spiritual path from the age of 17, so that was 51 years ago. And I went looking for a spiritual path. I knew that religion wasn't the answer for me, and I was very much aware that love, it was the ultimate. Unconditional love is all that really there ultimately is. I was very blessed to have my own conversations with God. I know Neil Donald Walsh did that. I was doing that in my own way as a teenager, and I found some answers for myself. And I have to say that the Neil Donald Walsh books go into many things that I didn't discover at that time, or didn't have the courage to go forward with, like things like the Holocaust and things like that. So I had an understanding of what life was, why I was here on the earth. And I went looking for a spiritual path, and I found a spiritual journey from actually going at the age of 17, having looked at several things. I went to the Spiritualist Association of Great Britain, where I was told I was very psychic. And I just laughed. I didn't even know what that was all about. And for me, then I became mediumistic naturally when I was 18. But although I knew I was mediumistic and I could bring back people from the spirit world and give messages, for me, when they left their physical body, they didn't become all enlightened, all knowing beings. And I wanted to, I think I've always been aware that in this incarnation, I was going to see huge changes for humanity happen. And I always wanted to find out more knowledge, wisdom from higher beings, like maybe the ascended masters and angelic beings, where the knowledge, the wisdom is. So I've had many spiritual experiences. When I was 29, that was my first Saturn return. Master Jesus came to me, and this was quite astounding to me. And he came in the form of a light, but he was adamant that this was who it was. It was the Christ energy. And I was taken quite aback, because I portrayed to him that, why have you come to me? All my ancestors are not, in this incarnation anyway, have not been Christians. And indeed, on my mother's side of the family, very unfortunately, they used to curse the Christ, which I learned from a very early age was, they were role models of exactly how not to be. And Master Jesus said to me that, I'm the truth, the way, the light, the way to the Father is through me, and took me on an inner spiritual journey through the light, literally to the heart of God, which was amazing. It took quite a few days to do this. However, I'm not a Christian. I don't adhere to any one religious or religious beliefs. I've always gone straight to divine, and of course that energy took me there, that Christ light. Having said that, that light, I'm absolutely 100% sure is in every single spiritual journey that everybody takes, no matter who or what they are, whether they're religious or not religious. And I've had many sort of spiritual experiences since then, and many spontaneous past life regressions. And I've had to piece the jigsaw puzzle together, because I thought the spiritual experiences were random, but they did all come together quite well. After I met somebody called Francis Xavier Aloisio, who wrote a book about the hidden, the mysteries of the temples of Malta. Now, I'd always had a feeling, and I don't know how, it was just a knowing, nobody told me this, that I had been in Atlantis. I had been there till the bitter end, and I that's all I knew. And I was fortunate enough to meet a spiritual artist, and I went to have a look at her works. And when I looked at her works, one of the pictures there, I recognized. I said, my goodness, I know this person. I worked with him in Atlantis. I don't know how I knew that. It was just an inner knowing. And she said to me that you can go and speak to this person through a trance medium. So I said, well, I must do that. When I went there and I spoke to this person, he was actually the Supreme Crystal Master at the last downfall of Atlantis. And when we spoke, he told me that we had worked together. He said, it's very apt that you've come here. We worked together in Atlantis. And I said, yes, I know that. And he said, do you know who or what you were? I said, I have no idea whatsoever. All I know is that I was in Atlantis. I was there to the bitter end. It was the last downfall. And when I saw your picture, I knew I'd worked with you. And he told me that I had been a high priestess there. I had nearly drowned several times and was taken by boat to Egypt. I had also had an experience where I had been visited by an off-planet being. and um, and this being was from Sirius. I won't go into too much detail about it, but fortunately it didn't appear in front of me. I think that would have really freaked me out, but it was in my mind's eye. And the way it told me this, it showed me its space face and then flashed up a picture of a dog, and it kept alternating between a star face, a star being face, and a picture of a dog. And it took me a few seconds to realize, you know, dog and star being dog star, dog star. And so I realized the being was from Sirius. And what it was saying to me, this was in 1993. And the being was saying to me that our planet would not have survived if it had not been for our other galactic friends saving the planet. And this being was saying it's not just the beings from Sirius, but there's beings from all over the planet that are helping our planet at that time. And absolutely 100% assured me that our planet would be safe and there would be peace on Earth in the future, which I already had a knowing of, but this being absolutely confirmed it. Said you never need to worry about it. Your planet is absolutely safe. You're being looked after by these other beings, and so that was that. Another experience that I had was a goddess Isis, literally when I was 20 years of age, literally manifested in front of me in her full glory. I was flat sharing with somebody at the time who had said that he had a high priestess as a spirit guide. And one evening I went into his room and there was it was like a cloud. I mean, bearing in mind this was 48 years ago, so it was a long time ago. There was like a cloud in the room, and then she just manifested in her full glory, took up the whole side of the room. Totally freaked me out. And she was standing with her wings outstretched. The only movement was her wings going up and down very slowly. She had her head looking at one side, just like she's depicted, you know, in the pictures, and it glowing sort of white with, just absolutely glowing white. And she seemed to sense that I was really, freaked out. I mean, who wouldn't be? And she just portrayed to me, look me straight in the eye, you are working with me. So I did look her straight in the eye, but it still was an incredible experience that I couldn't tell anybody about. I mean, fortunately, there was somebody else there who was having his own experience with her, but I couldn't tell anybody about that for a long time. And bearing in mind the energies, we weren't in the photon band then, and so there was just literally no one I could speak to about that, or who would have understood. And I then went on to, she then came back to me when I actually was one of the first people in the world to give birth in a water birth pool at home. And she said, now is the time for you to help promote water birth. And that's what I did. My son's 33 now, but after he was born, I did a lot to bring water birth through the NHS in the UK. I educated midwives and parents, made pools available and put on international conferences as well, which research is still going on. And all this kind of links back. I was also, I worked in the colour pools, the colour healing pools in Lemuria as well prior to that. But everything seems to link up with these past lives that I had in Lemuria and Atlantis, and I actually was, one of the most incredible experiences was that I was actually one of the first people to visit a portal in the Maltese Islands, where you can actually visit Atlantis. There's a crystal city of Atlantis. Now, the Maltese Islands are the tops of 3 mountains. Now, I had no idea where I had been in Atlantis. I knew I was in the middle of Atlantis, I was told, because you worked with the Supreme Crystal Master, you must have been in the center of Atlantis. I had no idea where that was. I knew Atlantis was a huge continent, absolutely massive, but I had no idea where the middle of it was at all, until there was a series of events that led me to the Maltese Islands. And through that series of events, well, I'll just tell this story because it's quite interesting, and it's just come to mind how that came about. So I was asked to go there for Easter one year by a friend of mine who's actually a canon, a priest in the Roman Catholic Church there. Now, when I say this, he was actually trying to, before lockdown or anything came out, he was trying to warn me what was going on in the Catholic Church. Yeah. And when he was saying things like, here come the mafia, when the bishop and the archpriest were coming down, I thought he was just saying it off the top of his head. But anyway, I can see in retrospect, he was really trying to warn me about things. He's actually hospital chaplain at the hospital there. So if he wasn't a priest in the setting where he is, he wouldn't have been able to do the good work that he does. So I respect him for that reason. But anyway, I went there. He said, "I'll come for Easter and see what happens at Easter here." And it just happened to be my birthday, so I went. And he said, "I'm going to take you to the churches, around the churches, because they have fresh flowers there." And previously to this, I just bumped into somebody in the square, and she said to me, "Oh, I have met you before here, and I know the work that you do." And she said, "If ever you go to a place called Arb, go to the Lotus Centre. They'd be very interested in the work that you do." And it just so happened that we were on our way to a church there, and I saw Lotus Centre open, and I thought, okay, let's go in. So we went in, and there was 2 ladies there. And as I went in, I said, "I'm Jayn Miller. I run the Academy of Angelic Healing in London, and I was told to come in and tell you, introduce myself to you." And they said, "Oh, that's interesting, because we're this was Good Friday, and on the Easter Monday, they said, we are going to put on a talk about angels." And I said, "Oh, brilliant." And one of them said, "Yeah, here I've got a book in my hand here. We were just looking up, because none of us know anything about angels." And the other one said, "I was woken up at 3:00 in the morning, told I must put on a talk about angels on Monday." And so we're in a bit of a dilemma because we've got no one to give the talk. And I said, "Well, you have now." And so on the Easter Monday over that weekend, they got 18 people, you know, on the little island of Gozo, and I gave the talk. But when I was sitting there in the centre, they had a book there by Francis Aloisio, and I said, "Oh, I'll take a copy of this book." And when I read it, it pieced together all the spiritual experiences that I personally had had. And they also said to me, I didn't say too much about what I've said here. I didn't say too much. I just said I have been involved in water birth. And they said, well, we'd like to take you to this Punic temple. We're not quite sure what was going on there. We've got some ideas, but we're not quite sure. Would you come? And I said, I'd love to. So, and the priest also said, well, I'd like to come as well. Now, what actually happened was the priest couldn't actually make the day that we went. So I went, and as I'm meditating, I felt the whole earth go beneath me. And I said to the person that I was with, who I did resonate with, and, you know, I've got past life connection with, I said, this is strange. Was all this land out here at one time? And she said, absolutely. And then I knew I was in Atlantis. But again, it didn't resonate at that precise moment that that's where I'd been. And I said to her, and then I confided, I said, I was told I was a high priestess. And she said, yes, I was a handmaiden. And it just so happens that in that past lifetime, I had saved her life because I knew what was going to happen, and I just wanted her to go and be safe. And I did sort of help her in this lifetime as well. And we're still friends, of course. And she said to me, and I said, I was nearly drowned several times. I was taken by boat to Egypt. And she said, oh, yeah, Egypt's just a boat ride over there. And then I realized that this is where I must have been, or certainly in that sort of area. Then, as I'm meditating, I saw a vision of the Supreme Crystal Master of Atlantis in front of me. And then I saw a vision of my friend, the priest, the canon from the Catholic Church, and they blended into one being. And I just burst out laughing. I thought it was hilarious. And as I'm laughing, she says, what are you laughing at? And I said, I've just seen the priest and the Supreme Crystal Master of Atlantis blend into one being. And she went, yes, just like that. She took it seriously. And anyway, the priest said he wanted to go and see this place as well. So I took him along there, and it was just the two of us there. And I was under the impression, very falsely, that he knew nothing about the things that I knew about. I mean, gosh, he knows everything I know and much, much more, of course. And when I took him there, the experiences that he had was just absolutely incredible, because he just took himself completely back to the times when we were there and knew exactly what was happening, what was going on there. And he said to me that he saw me and him blend into one as well when during I mean, I hadn't told him anything, not a thing, and he saw me and him blend into one. And I thought, well, this is just really quite interesting. And what happened after that was I met Francis Aloisio in person. I did say to the people at the Lotus Centre, I must meet this man, because there's obviously a connection, and there's a very strong connection there. And the first thing I said to him when I met him, he actually came to my hotel because I was staying in Malta after that. And he came to me, and the first thing I said was, where are the 12 crystals I need to go and activate? I didn't even know what I was talking about. And he just said, yes, I know exactly what you mean. And I know exactly what you have to do and where you need to go. He said, I can tell you the area. Well, the area where they were was right near where my friend, the priest, they've got a family restaurant there. And he said, but you have to go to Camino first to get the key. Well, it just so happened that I had 2 days left there before I was flying home. The last day I had kept free because I was going to relax, but and obviously I went to where we needed to activate the crystals. That's what I was obviously meant to do. But the day after that, I'd already booked to go to Camino. And then Isis came and said, don't ever think you're not guided, because we're obviously, whatever decisions you're making, we are guiding you. So, the next day went to Camino, and then the priest it happened to be his day off that next day, and we went and did what we needed to do. But we've got a lot more to do, but it's when humanity is ready. And don't ask me what it is, got no idea. But the interesting thing is that there was this conference to visit the portal of the Crystal City of Atlantis. And I put up on Facebook a picture of the artist's impression of the Supreme Crystal Master, thinking that if anybody recognized that, they should then come to the conference, because they would be part of, the group that for some reason needed to be at the Crystal City of Atlantis. So I put this picture up on Facebook. Anyway, I happened to go to Gozo again that year, because I used to go there with a friend to a festival. And I was sitting with the priest outside a cafe there, and I just happened to have the picture on my phone, and I showed him the picture, and I said, oh, does this picture mean anything to you? And he said to me, well, of course it does. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, you put that on Facebook, didn't you? I said, yes. And I said, do you know who it is? And he said, of course I know who it is. I said, okay, who is it then? And he said, it's me. And I just laughed. I said, oh, get out of it. Of course it's not you. I said, that is actually the Supreme Crystal Master from the last downfall of Atlantis. And he said to me, look at it again. Look into my eyes, and then look at the eyes of that. Tell me that's not me. And I realized that it is him. So just watch this space, basically. Yeah, it's very
amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting. So that's sort of my spiritual path in a nutshell up to now. I've always, as I say, I've always been mediumistic, but always wanted to go with the highest vibrations that I could. I'm very aware that there's all different kinds of vibrations, and we need all of them to create the tapestry and symphony of life. But I've always been attracted to the highest vibrations, and I've always known, and I've always taught that we will have peace on this planet. I know I'm going to see it within this incarnation, and as a high priestess in Atlantis, all we wanted was to have that template for peace on earth to project all around the earth. And of course, we were abruptly stopped from doing that. And so our work is now to continue to take on where we left off. And the interesting thing is, I can remember the Reiki symbols being given in Atlantean times. And I think I'm correct in saying that this was the first time they were ever given to humanity, although they're multidimensional symbols throughout time and space. They were given to the people of Atlantis to try and restore the balance at that time. And I can remember feeling very sad actually about that, because I thought, well, why can't we just live in awe of the divine? But of course, because some of the high priests and priestesses wanted the power for themselves, or were misusing the energies, this was something that was given to humanity, but it was too little too late. The Reiki symbols were then, Saint Germain, who's the Kohan of the seven rays now, who's helping humanity through this age of Aquarius for the next 2,000 years. He was a high priest in Atlantis. And my understanding is that he was helping to ship people out as well. He was responsible for the dissemination of information, knowledge, and for people to be moved from Atlantis, because we knew it was going to fall at some point. And the Reiki symbols were taken to Tibet, where Dr. Yasui found them. But until we came into the photon band more, the Reiki symbols couldn't be energized in the way that they are now. And I had started to work with angels in the late 1990s. Actually, it might have been before that. It might have been the 1980s, late 1980s. And then when Kevin Core channeled through Angelic Reiki between 2002 and 2003, because I was already working with angels, I got a magazine through the door called Paradigm Shift. I don't think it's going anymore. And they wanted me to advertise. And Kevin Core had written an article in it. And when I saw Angelic Reiki, I thought, I'm working with angels. I didn't actually know anybody else who was working with angels at that time. I knew Diana Cooper was, and Doreen Virtue, but I didn't really know anybody else that was working professionally with angels. So I wanted to be attuned to Angelic Reiki. And when I was attuned to it, that was just a huge spiritual boost for me.
Can I a little bit interrupt there? What difference is between Reiki and Angelic Reiki?
Okay, so I've got an article that if people are interested, they can email me and I'll send it in more detail. But as I say, the Reiki symbols could not be energized in such a way before the photon band, before we came into the photon band. But so even Dr. Yasui now sometimes attends my workshops, and he's using that energy to help the earth. It's like, I don't understand these things, but it's like there's pipes going through the earth. So I suppose it's meridians, and he's using the Angelic Reiki energy. And also, when I first started to teach it, Madame Takata was with me. Now, I've never done any other form of Reiki. So I didn't even know who this was. But when I described, I said, oh, I've always got somebody, this lovely little Polynesian type lady with me when I'm doing the attunements or facilitating the attunements, because the angels, I bring in angelic beings, they do the attunements. So everyone who comes who's attuned to angelic Reiki is attuned to angelic vibration, not my human vibration. I wouldn't want anyone attuned to, as joyful as I can be, I wouldn't want anybody attuned to my level of, when they can be attuned to angelic vibration. So the main difference is that the angels do all the healing, all the attunements. You don't have to worry about hand positions, symbols, nothing. It's absolutely very, very simple. You're also personally attuned by Archangel Metatron, and you are attuned on all 7 levels of form and divine form. So, it's on all levels. Whereas my understanding, and nobody in all I'm approaching my 17th year of teaching this now, nobody has ever told me anything different than the fact that you're actually attuned with say Yusui, you're attuned to the consciousness of the human being at solar plexus level. So if you can just work out the differences, I put, and each to their own, but I personally would rather be attuned by an angelic being on all 7 levels of form and divine form, rather than at the consciousness of my teacher at solar plexus level.
But I don't know. I think it's just my inner feeling that anyway, it doesn't matter who is attuning you. That person is not that powerful. It's still divine who is working through this person.
Well,
Like me, I'm Reiki practitioner myself. Yeah, I've been attuned by my master. Yeah, but I still, when I work with clients, I never like tapping in my teachings, what I've been taught or something. I straight away tapping in and bringing divine energy to me.
yeah,
For divine energy to work with me. My
yeah,
guide, my divine energy. Doesn't matter what job I'm doing. I'm doing coaching, I'm doing counseling. Doesn't really matter what job, but I straight away before I start, I'm tapping into this divine energy.
yes, yeah, of course,
And
as we all are. Yeah, we all are. It's just different vibrational levels of it. And what's right for some people is not right for another. I mean, for me personally, I would rather be attuned. As I say, I was mediumistic. I was bringing in loved ones from spirit, beautiful people, and what have you. But I'd still rather have my attunement with an angelic being. But that's just my choice. It's not for everybody. I agree. It's not. We need all the different vibrations to make the world work, and you have to go with what you're comfortable with. Absolutely. And I'm not saying angelic Reiki is for everybody, absolutely not. It's not everybody wants to work with angelic beings, and that's absolutely fine. It's just I do happen to want to do that, and I wasn't particularly interested in just the vibration wasn't right for me with Yusui. It was very nice, it was lovely, but it wasn't that warm, glowy feeling that I get from the angelic Reiki. That's all I can say. And I mean, one of my students then was working with Lemurian seed crystals, and she wanted to attune me to Lemurian energy. I mean, I did work in the color pools in Lemuria, which is probably why the water birth was so relevant for me. And also, I now am the custodian of Master Energy Color Healing website. But sorry, I've completely lost my track now. I don't know what I was talking about. But oh yeah, I know what I was going to say. But she was doing the attunements, and I said, no, I don't get attuned to the level of a human. I mean, we're all beautiful, and we're all what can I say? We are all that is, all that ever has been, all that ever will be. But I think because I'm so used now to having, invoking angelic beings in and facilitating attunements that the angelic beings do, that's more of the energy that I would like to work with. Yeah. And everyone that I know that's Manusui, who's been attuned to angelic Reiki, can't believe how simple it is, because literally all you do once you've been attuned, place your hands on, wrap the receiver in your aura, and then invite the angel in, and then just become the angel and hold the space. And literally, the more you can let the angel take over the healing, the better. You don't have to remember any hand positions or symbols. And they all say the energy is much more potent, much more beautiful, than what they were using in other systems. I can only report that because I haven't done any other myself. But horses for courses.
No, I know. I done with you recently this angel color healing, and it was absolutely beautiful and extremely powerful. I never felt like 15 minutes after this healing, I still didn't want to move. It's
Yeah.
something very unusual for me.
Again, you see that Master Energy Color Healing, like Angelic Reiki, was brought through as ascension tools to help us through to fifth dimensional awareness. So they're both very, very high vibrational healing modalities. So Master Energy Color Healing, that was actually brought through in 1998, as long ago as that. And by two ladies. One is in spirit now, Mallory Stendhal. She passed to spirit. It was during the first lockdown, July of the first lockdown, and she came to me and said, it gave me a push, please get more involved with Master Energy Color Healing, because I'd put it to the side for a while because I was so involved with Angelic Reiki, and also I teach my own angel healing practitioner work, which is a variety of different ways of working with angels that is not Angelic Reiki, because that's different again. And so I phoned Bobby Pierpoint, who's the other co-founder, and Master Energy Color Healing was quite a challenge to teach because it was quite complicated originally. But we developed a very short online practitioner course that takes about 3 hours. And a medium called Robert Brown channeled the most beautiful attunement for master energy color healing. And so this practitioner workshop can just be done online. But the beauty of this is that it can be done by anybody who's pure of heart through the spoken word. So it's literally just done through the voice, taking people through all the different coloured rays. Well, not all of them, but 7 of them, because there's obviously there's loads of different coloured rays, but this is 7 of them. And we've had some really, really very good feedback from it. In fact, I've just been put up for an award with Kindred Spirit. Well, not me personally, but well, it's for my work, but the Academy of Angelic Healing, which I run, that's been put up for the award. And I don't know who nominated me, but I did actually take the editor of Kindred Spirit through a master energy color healing. She actually wrote up about it, and I think she was so impressed. Maybe that's why the Academy of Angelic Healing has actually been nominated for this award. But it's very simple, and it's a great first rung on the ladder for anybody who wants to get into the healing, because you don't need any previous experience, because it's just done through the voice, and it can be done online, on Zoom, or Skype, or Facebook or YouTube, or over the phone, obviously in person as well. And it can be done for groups as well. And all the recipient needs to do is just lie in the energies, as you know yourself. Beautiful. And then just stay in those beautiful
It's amazing
energies.
feeling. It's like taking some warm blanket or warm bath when you don't want to get out of it. It's now even you realize, okay, I need start to do something. I must do something. You really have to push yourself even after those 15 minutes. I have to sort of push myself, get up and start do something.
I don't know why you bothered. Should have just gone with the flow and relaxed, made the most of it.
I think, because now in me all the time is inside. Now I have to do this, and something
I know
else,
the
and
feeling.
something else, and I try to push myself. I think that's coming from childhood, because my parents and in my family always, if you do nothing, then you are lazy, and this doing nothing
You're
in
not
me, like
lazy,
I'm
Daiga.
lazy. Yeah, so it's pushes me to do it more, yeah, till I drop.
I understand that one. Yeah, I'm a bit of a workaholic myself, so yeah, I do understand that. But I'm glad that you were able to lie in it for the good 15 minutes. You would have absorbed, quite a lot for that. Yes.
I do hope you one day will come back and give this angel color healing to actually our viewers as well, because it's really powerful and beautiful.
I
I
would love
most
to.
definitely want to lie in this goof again.
Yeah, I would. I would love to. I would love to do that. I love doing that, and whenever I go through that healing, I'm actually doing it for myself as well. I'm actually there with it. Whenever I do any kind of meditation, I go through it myself, because it brings me part of the group as well. And yeah, So it is. And if you love that vibration, I think you would love angelic Reiki as well, because it's a similar kind of vibration with angelic Reiki. And if you wanted to, I could do something on angelic Reiki and do something online. I mean, the hands-on treatment obviously has to be done in person, but I could talk through angelic Reiki and do a healing meditation for that as well. Yes.
That would be brilliant. I think this one is only very first introduction show with Jayn Lee, and I'm absolutely sure shortly Jayn Lee will be back and start going deep in all knowledge she has, because it's not possible in one show. It's not possible to actually tell and introduce even people to all you're doing.
Yeah, there's so much more that I do as well, because I do well, I've just run my angel healing practitioner course online as well. It's quite interesting because I used to do a lot of work in my venue here. It's the Academy of Angelic Healing is absolutely a sort of posh name for my home, and of course
it's actually your home.
It's my home. I live here, and it's open plan, and it's quite small, so I can only have small groups here, but that I love doing it like that. Angelic Reiki is something I have to teach in person. It cannot be taught online, but everything else that I do can be done online. And of course, when the lockdowns came, the Zooms were absolutely fantastic. It was wonderful. So I started to do things on Zoom, and I think that's how, I don't know who put me through for the award in 2020, but I think I got that because I was doing quite a lot online for people, and people were coming on Zoom from all over the world, which was nice. And of course now I can have students from other places. I have to make sure the timing's right, because obviously that there's different timings.
I'm slowly starting to get used to that. Everybody who I interview, I have to arrange timings to be so many hours forward, so many hours backwards. That's why on all my invitations and posters and shows there is GMT time.
Yes.
Then everybody knows it's England's time, yeah?
Yes.
Because it's completely different with everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. But if anybody's interested in me talking about anything, I know I waffled on about the crystal city of Atlantis. If anybody's interested in the article that I wrote for my visit there, because that's quite interesting. If people are interested, I won't go too much into that, but
most definitely it is interesting. I don't understand really how you see this portal, how you
I don't know. I don't know how I do what I do. I really don't know how, and I never think I can do anything, but it just happens. That's all I can say. But with the portal, well, I think rather than go into it all here now, I mean, I can if you want me to, but if people are interested, I can send them the article. But you etherically move into it, and I could see everything that was there and be amongst the beings that were there. And the whole purpose of that portal and what's happening is purely I'm saying pumping up. It's giving positive energy to the earth. It's absolutely it's beautiful there, and you've got all these different beings living together, totally different vibrations, but all living in harmony with each other, respecting each other and respecting the earth and working in harmony. And they've got a lot to teach us. I mean, these are highly evolved beings, all of them there, and they have got a lot to teach us. And there is a book about the portal called The Crystal City of Atlantis, and it's by somebody called Christine Aloisio. That's Aloisio. But if anybody's interested, please, my email address is below, and I can send you all these details and send you a copy of my article. Now, also, as I say, I was I was in Atlantis in the center. The Queen of Atlantis was Isis. That's why Isis came to me. I had no idea. I mean, why should Isis come to me? I had no idea. But I realized that she was actually the Queen of Atlantis. She was her palace was on Gozo, and Osiris, his palace was on the Malta. In Malta. Now, I think I haven't said that this was the center of Atlantis because the Maltese Islands are in the middle of the Mediterranean, and the Mediterranean is Middle Earth. So it's in the middle of the Mediterranean. So that's why. And they were three tops of three mountains, Camino, Malta, and Gozo. And all Atlantis, or the center of it, is underneath there. And you've got more temples, ancient temples, in the Maltese Islands per square foot than anywhere else in the world. I had no idea of this at all. And the Queen of Atlantis was Isis. Well, she wasn't Isis. Well, I suppose she was Isis. I don't know what she called herself, but anyway, she was the Queen of Atlantis. And at the time when I'd already visited the Crystal City with the group of beings, these were human beings, and then we visited Atlantis, and you've got people from all over the galaxy there, as well as Atlanteans and Lemurians. And I was invited by the founder of Angelic Reiki to go to the Temple of Isis and on a Nile cruise in Egypt, and it's something I'd always wanted to do. However, Isis said to me, no, you go back to the Crystal City of Atlantis where we used to work together before Egypt. So she was there before Egypt. When I went to the Crystal City the second time, I've only been twice in this lifetime, she said, you must make an essence of that place. You must bottle it, in other words, so you can share it with others. Because where the portal is quite a challenge to find. You have to know exactly where you're going. It's and as I say, it's quite a challenge. And fortunately, a healer that I see regularly, he told me how to make this essence. He told me how to make an essence. So I did everything that he said. And when I was making the essence, or, trying to infuse the energy of the place, Isis did come. So her energy is also in the essence. as well as the whole of the Crystal City. And when I brought it back, my healer said to me, "Can you bring the essence to me?" Which I did. And he told me it had taken 100%. It could be used anyhow. So, for example, you can put a drop in water or drop on your, in your mouth, or put the bottle onto a chakra or what have you. And he actually took some of this essence for himself to treat his patients with. And he's had quite incredible success. I'll just give you an example. Because the essence obviously can be used for lots of different things, and I did do a channeling of what it can be used for. But in a particular case, there was a mother and son that really weren't getting on very well, and the mother was trying to steer the son into a direction the son really didn't want to go into. And when I tuned into the son, I realized that he had come back in this lifetime to bring some very important technical information from Atlantis. He'd worked in those times. He had a very, very definite path. There was no ands, ifs, or buts here. He was on an absolute definite path, and he could only do what he was here to do. And with the mother steering him somewhere else, that just was not going to work. She just had to let him be. Anyway, they both took this essence, and apparently overnight it resolved the situation between them. So that was
that's some sort of liquid,
yes,
real liquid you brought
yes,
back.
Yes, yeah. How you make these it's like the batch flour, that kind of thing. It's like a batch flour sort of essence. So you actually have to make it. How I did it was I had a little bottle of vodka and I infused the energy into that, but then you just use a tiny bit of that.
That's actually like you in this vodka or whatever liquid you have, you just somehow manage to get this energy in, yeah?
Yeah, I had a beautiful crystal that I actually had got when I went to the Crystal City of Atlantis conference. It was like a heart shape, naturally heart shaped crystal. So I used that crystal as like a pendulum. My healer said, you use a pendulum. Well, I used this beautiful crystal as a pendulum, and he said it took 100%. But my intention was bringing the Crystal City of Atlantis energy in there, but I was also visited by the Queen of Atlantis, Isis, as well, and her energy went into that. So, and of course, we are here. Just before the last downfall of Atlantis, what we were doing was we were trying to raise the vibration for the whole of the planet to collectively, and for humanity to collectively move into fifth dimensional awareness from 3D to fifth. And originally, we honestly thought that was going to happen. And of course, it didn't. And that's why we are back here. This is what the Great Invocation is all about. Let light, love and power restore the plan on earth. We honestly thought that we were going to move to that awareness at that time, but this time I categorically state we will do. It's a knowing that I have, and I've always known it.
I'm sure we learn from previous failures and we will manage to move in right direction this time.
We are. The Earth's already making her ascent to fifth dimensional awareness, and she promised she would take humanity with her. And as soon as enough of us, and this is why I love the high vibrations, because, you know, as soon as enough of us on a vibrational level are, you know, fifth dimension, then we will collectively move in. I mean, Diana Cooper says that it's written in stone that we'll move into fifth dimensional awareness, you know, collectively in 2032. So we've got 10 years to get this right. And these are going to be 10 of the most interesting years I think this planet has ever known. And although I've always taught, hold on, there will be peace on earth within my lifetime, within this incarnation. I will see the true seeds of peace on earth planted on this planet. I know it. Nothing and nobody could ever tell me anything different. However, I've always said we are going to have to go through quite a rocky time before. It won't be, you know, plain sailing. And of course, it can't be going from third to fifth. And I've said the truth has to come out. The absolute truth. We have to know, every single human being has to know why we have not had peace on this planet. If we are made in the likeness of the divine, which we are, of course, and we are all brothers and sisters, then why is this planet in such a state? Why aren't we all looking after each other? Why isn't everybody's basic needs met like they are on other planets? This is the only planet where you have to pay to live. On all the other planets, you're looked after. All your basic needs are looked after. Everybody knows their brothers and sisters. And I mean, it's like in the Crystal City of Atlantis, you can tell they're very, very different. They're not even one human race like we are. Although, of course, we're made of all different races anyway. But you know, they're different dimensions. They're different beings. You've got Atlanteans, Lemurians there, and then beings from all over. They all respect one another. They all live in harmony. I mean, the Lemurians are very sort of laid back and dreamy, and you know, you've got really very peaceful places there, and then you've got all this high tech going on with the Atlanteans. You're very different, and then you've got the galactic beings doing their things on their different dimensions, but they all respect. They know the boundaries. They respect each other. They work in harmony with the earth. And you've even got surface people on the surface, farmers there, you know, helping to keep the energy on the earth and keep the portal pure as well. So, you know, they're teaching us how we're going to live in the future, which we will. We will all live, you know, like that. But of course, we have to realize why we haven't. We have to know the truth. And of course, the truth is all coming out now. It has to do.
It has to come out, because I don't agree to anyone who says, "Oh no, half of true only comes out," or some percentage of true only comes out. I think everybody have to know what awful crimes being done over these years, thousands and thousands of years. Everybody needs to know, go through it, and make sure it's never ever happened again.
100% agreed. I mean, I was a teenager when I realized there's something very wrong here on this planet, something very wrong. I mean, we've had wars, people have actually killed each other. Why? How did it come to that, you know? And I agree with you, the truth has to come out. I myself, I don't want to know the nitty. I'm too sensitive to know the nitty gritty details of things. I know enough to know the truth, but I don't need to know the details, if you get my meaning here.
Yes, I
But
I know what you mean.
but you know, I just need to know, okay, yeah, and obviously it just all makes sense what has been happening. Unfortunately, I mean, I had no idea of the scale of things, and I don't think many of us did. And
I When I started, I knew lots of things is not right for years, talking about those two things which drop in America some time ago, and Princess Diana. I knew these two things 100% is not right. They telling, I knew in myself, but deep I start looking only 2 years ago when all these shutdowns come. Yeah, but then I been through all those rabbit holes. Maybe not all of them. I think probably I still can have some surprises.
oh, do you know,
Not
I'm
a lot,
absolutely sure.
hopefully, but
I
still have some surprises. But
definitely.
but I've been there now. That's it. I try to put behind. These some things which I saw. I never ever forget. Yeah, anymore.
That
But
yeah,
I
this is why I,
managed to put aside.
yeah, that's good, because you know, there's certain things I don't want to see, and that's it. Um, I know, and I I'm aware. I've always been aware that there's something not right going on. I now know some of what isn't right. I'm
Mhm.
sure, as you say, there's many surprises. All I focus on and is keeping an unconditional level. There's no judgment here, because I'm fully aware, and always have been, that there's a divine plan. I've always known there'll be peace on earth. I've always known that this is going to happen, and all we can do is hold that light, hold that energy, and let it all come out. You know, without judgment. Everything's playing its part. Everything is playing its part. And you know, not to blame individuals as well, because they're acting out. You know, as Shakespeare said, we are just the actors here, playing out our roles. And if it wasn't, I mean, these people were, some of them, I mean, all the negative high priests and priestesses who brought about the downfall of Atlantis, they've been back one by one, causing trouble again. And they just, well, they haven't won and they won't win. It's as simple as that. They just can't. No matter what they try and do, it will always now be stopped, because you know, this is the time for our ascension, and that nothing can stop it. But yeah, we do have to learn from it, and um and not judge. You know, we have to forgive. The only way we can come through it is through love and forgiveness, and just know that they're doing what they believe is the right thing for them to do. um but you know, we can do without it on this planet. It's what it's,
And
you know, I don't particularly want to live with it. You know, I mean, in the spirit world, you know, we all live with people that we're harmonious with. We don't have to worry. We just naturally, you know, there's natural, just like in the crystal city of Atlantis. You know, they all live harmoniously, even though they're different kinds of species and beings and what have you.
I
And you
I
know,
think on that note we can finish today's video, and and we will talk with you when you coming back, because I know everybody will know, see and hear from you deep about everything what you do, and start to learn some in not learn but actually experience some of your work as well, with color healing or any other healing what you're doing on meditations, what you're doing. So we will with Jayn Lee agreed when will be next our video session. So look up, I will put up adverts on Facebook, I will put up adverts on Telegram, because I don't have community on YouTube yet. So I'm putting up on adverts on Facebook and Telegram for all new coming shows. So please look up, and we will be both back soon. Is there anything else on end you want to tell our viewers, Jayn Lee?
well, if anybody is interested in angelic Reiki or master energy color healing, well, you can get in touch with me anyway at info@healingangels.co.uk. But I'm quite happy to talk about anything you'd like to. I do talk on the spiritual laws as well, what have you. So yeah, so
Okay.
and thank you for this opportunity, Daiga.
Thank you for coming, Jayn Lee. Thank you for coming. I'm very appreciated, and I'm very happy you are agreed to come back again. So I'm really looking forward to that. And for all our viewers, please, if you like our video, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because many more videos with great people are coming up on this channel, and lots of wisdom is coming up on this channel from different great people. And for today, from our hearts to yours, thank you very much for watching, and God bless.
God bless.